Are you waiting on 40 acres and a mule? The reason I use this is because a lot of us are waiting for the government to give us something. Stimulus check, or is they gonna cut out Social Security? Is they gonna cut out Medicaid? Is they gonna do all of these things we feel like we entitled to? You know, the government has lied all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they consistently lie. They consistently gotta do things that they don't hold their end of the bargain. And that's why I say 40 acres and a mule, because yeah, they promised that, but what did they do? They took it back. You know what I mean? But I'm not asking about them giving us 40 acres and a mule. I'm not worried about the 40 acres and a mule. The reason I say this is because our mindset. Because the mindset of us still acting like we owe something, waiting on the government to give us something. What we have to do is really go inside ourselves and still use the 40 acres and a mule as an analogy. Because the mule is our mind, and the 40 acres is the land that's uncultivated inside our head, because we have not healed and been able to use that to our greatest advantage. And that's God's greatest gift to us. You know, we look at history, but we don't understand that this same colonialism has been spread throughout the world. Africa is so divided and so messed up. Thailand, the whole world, all of these countries is due to colonialism. And we ain't the only victims, it's victims all throughout the world. I mean, you know, you go look at Georgia, that's part of France. You can look at all of these things and understand that, man, these countries have suffered due to the same mentality mindset that they'll go in, make promises, and then rob them. I mean, that's what happens. But now we have the greatest opportunity to say, you know, we ain't taking it no more. But it don't start with us blaming nobody. It starts with us taking responsibility within ourselves. The reason I say this is because I found this joy inside of myself when I went on a pilgrimage. When I went on this self-discovery, when I figured out that my mind is my capital at the finest of all creation. That once I started to break limitation, once I started to go back, I had to travel all the way back to when I was a kid, because that's when I was programmed. I was automatically programmed to act, to be a certain way. That's what I'm trying to say. I was programmed as a child to be a certain way, to act a certain way, and feel like that's okay. And then I repeated that in my adult life. I had that limited mindset. I didn't think I was smart enough. I always was telling myself, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. And all of those things was a programming set inside myself for limitations. There is no limitation. There is, you do until you make it. You continue to practice until you master it. And once you master it, your mind takes over and it's gonna do 95% of the work. This is the beauty about when you get inside of yourself and you start to break these limited beliefs. When you start to break this bad program, you have to reprogram yourself. So many of us are afraid of AI, and we shouldn't be, because we are just as powerful, more powerful, let me rephrase that, than the computer could ever be. But we are programmed by those naysayers, by those we let in our mental cortex, to tell us what we cannot achieve, or what's gonna happen. You have to get away from all of those traumas in your life. You have to get away from the school teacher that told you that you wasn't smart in math, or you wasn't smart enough to be in this class. You have to get past all of those things, all of your hurts, all your pains, all of those negative people. You're gonna have to separate yourself from that in order to break into a different mindset, in order to take yourself to a new level, in order to have the things that you ain't never had before. You got to do some things you ain't never done before. Superhero strength, superhero mind, superhero things you can do. Your mind can cultivate it. Disney World, there wouldn't be a Disney World without Walt Disney being very imaginative. Using his imagination made him a fortune. Using this right here, he allowed himself to dream and build it. Your dreams are keeping you sick. And you're like, really, what do you mean by that? Let me explain why your dreams are keeping you sick. My dreams kept me sick. My dreams of not being the best version of me had me with bipolar, depression, drug addiction, alcoholism. All of these isms is because my mind was saying, give me what I truly want, and I will show you a different life. It took me to hit rock bottom, to rebuild right, to understand the human mind the way I understand it today. I don't need medicine. I need to let my mind create its highest capacity. And it don't want to stop. It's gonna always want to get better and better and better. So if you have in your mind said that you cannot achieve, you can, because your mind will help you get there. But you will have to break your mule. That's why I made this 40 acres and a mule, because in order to plow your land, you got to break that mule. And your mule is going to kick back. Your mule is going to give you hell, because this is not easy. I'm not telling you to go find oneself and to be able to do the things that's necessary, because 99% of the people won't do it. I'm asking you 1% to do it. That's why this is not easy. It might sound good. I might sound good. I might, ooh, he's motivational. I don't mean to be motivational. I mean to give you the tools to take yourself from A to B to freedom. But you gotta want freedom. You gotta say enough is enough. The time is now, not tomorrow, now. It's time for you to say, guess what? I'm tired of living the way I am living. And you can change that. You can change everything about what you do not like. And it's not gonna be an instant gratification, because you're gonna see it before you achieve it. And it's gonna be like, I wonder if I'm losing my mind. No, it's gonna show you what you're gonna have, but you gotta believe it. And you gotta work for it, and you gotta work for it, and then it's gonna give it to you. You cannot go look at some land and think it's gonna produce a harvest. You gotta put in the work to get a harvest. You gotta maybe go through a drought. You might have to go through some things, but guess what? This is gonna eventually give you a harvest. But you got to put in the work. Faith without works is dead. I say it all the time. The only reason I use this analogy because I want to grab your attention. I want you to grab your attention and say, stop waiting on people to give you scraps. Stop with the slavery mind mentality, because that's all they want to do is give you scraps. And it ain't their fault if you accept scraps. It ain't your fault that they lined up and come to the hog pen and you be like, oh yeah, master. Because you'll go to work for the master, but you will not go to work to save your own mind. You will not go to work and invest in yourself. That is a slave mindset. Even after being free, they went and did work for the master. Because guess what? They knew that they were displaced. But what happened to the ones that had a different mindset? What happened to the ones that thought different? They ended up with abundance. That's what happened. When those that tell you about all of these things, and they got plenty of land, and they say it's a lack of, we should have got, they pumping you up, because they already got it, okay? They just want to cause chaos and some stuff to be like, yeah, y'all go do this. If you ain't got the right mentality, they gonna get it right back in the first place. It doesn't make sense to go to give you something that they can take right back anyway. Because you don't understand it. You don't understand that until you master oneself, everybody can master you. You're going to work for everybody else if you don't start to believe and work for you. That's where God is in. God is in the details of you. He loves you, but you got to love you back. Or you can go follow somebody who's going to enslave you, rob you, and tell you to pay this, and next, and you'll make their life good. And you'll be admiring a life that should be yours. You'll be admiring some things that you should be locking into, because it's time to stop being an admirer and get in the game. It's time to cut off that TV, Netflix, and all of these people that you spending time with that ain't caring about you, because they done achieved their dreams. They done made their network television show. Maybe they going on. But you are sponsoring their dreams. But they had to go through the same exact thing to get there. This is not an easy road, but it's a doable road. Everybody wants instant gratification in this world, but nobody wants to put in the work. The real work starts when you ain't getting no paycheck for it, and you putting off the instant gratification, that getting paid and knowing you're gonna get a paycheck gratification for the long run. You have to invest in the long game, not the short game. Long game. That's where the game is played at, and it's played in you, because you're gonna get great dividends back, way better than the stock market. They won't tell you that, because when you addicted to the stock market, it's a gamble. I'm not saying something wrong with the stock market. But before you start playing the stock market, you need to have the right mindset for the stock market, number one. Number two, you got to understand that you just as good, not good, better than the stock market. Why? Because you can build systems that can pay you over and over and over again, and only have to do it once. You only got to program your mind once. It's going to be the hardest job that you signed up to do, but you only got to do it once. Step in, lock in, like, subscribe, comment. I hope you got value out of this. I hope you really understand that a broken mind is a poor mind, and a poor mind will not take you anywhere but poverty. Change your mindset. Start now. Like, subscribe, comment, man. Thank you. If you stick around this long, I appreciate you. I really do. Stay locked in with me. Look, man, I know I'm not in here alone. We in this together. I fight the same fight. I'm not telling you something that I'm not doing. I'm giving you everything that I have done to break this mindset. I have done this. I ain't telling you something that somebody done told me. I'm telling you something that I do on a consistent basis. And you can do it too. Like you. They already got it.